Hey everyone, welcome to the channel. My name's Easton Cook and I am a flight attendant for a major US airline. In this video, we're covering need-to-knows on commuting, and I have been a commuter before, so I've got notes. And before we begin, make sure and subscribe. Y'all, I set a goal of reaching 1,000 subscribers by the end of 2023, and I cannot believe how close I am. That's thanks to you, so thank you so much. Make sure and subscribe. Connect with me in the link in the description below. You can connect with me on the socials. Make sure and like this video if you found it informative or useful, and you know, all the YouTube stuff. As you can see, I think, let me see here, I'm using the iPhone 15 Pro, and of course looking at myself through my watch because I'm using the back camera. As you can see behind me, I have a lot of stuff on the bed. Just a mess. That's because I am going to Germany tomorrow. I'm taking my girlfriend and my family to Frankfurt to watch the Dolphins play. Just one of the amazing perks of working for an airline, because let's be clear, if I didn't have these benefits, I could not even afford to go just myself, let alone take my family and my girlfriend.
Help me, I'm poor. No.
So, if you can even see it behind me, try and ignore the mess. You know, originally we were gonna fly directly from Atlanta to Frankfurt, but the flight from Atlanta to Frankfurt didn't look that great. And when I say didn't look that great, I mean that the number of unsold seats on the plane were few. And when you're flying free, you only get a seat if a seat is empty on the plane. So because that route didn't look too great, we had to get creative. Yeah, we looked at flying into Amsterdam, we looked into flying into Munich, to Brussels, and none looked all that great. Yeah, there were a few seats here and there, so maybe we'll make it to like one of those destinations, but it didn't look good enough. And then we found Milan. Plenty of seats open, so literally yesterday, that's what we decided to do. And I'm filming this today on Sunday, the 29th? And I'm posting it today too. So I'm talking about all of this in the present right now, assuming you're watching the video today. So since we just decided to fly to Milan tomorrow, Monday, the 30th, that means that now we got to book Airbnbs in Milan, and then of course we'll train to Frankfurt, because the Dolphins game isn't until next Sunday. So we're going there about a week in advance. So we actually, honestly, we'll probably train all over. We'll go to Zurich, we'll go to Frankfurt, we'll go to, we'll hang out in Milan. I really want to see the Last Supper painting, so I'm actually kind of excited about this. But as of now, we've booked nothing and planned almost absolutely nothing, and we leave tomorrow. But that's the life of standby travel. You have to be able to roll with the punches and have backups to your backups, because there's always a chance that you simply don't make the flight. Now, this video's subject is on flight attendant commuting. So why in the world am I talking about flying for free or standby travel on personal time? Well, it's because free travel is how you commute. If you live in Boston, but your flight attendant base is in Dallas, Texas, that means that you must start your work trips from Dallas, Texas, and you must also end your work trips in Dallas, Texas. If you sign in at 4 p.m. on Friday, that means that you must be in Dallas at your plane's gate at 4 p.m. on Friday. Well, be at your gate at like 3:50 p.m. because, you know, what is it? Early is on time is late, and late is unacceptable. You ever hear that? It's an airline saying. So in order to get there on time, you gotta commute. So here are 3 tips when commuting. Number 1, book a jump seat as early as your airline will allow. A jump seat is basically equivalent to positive space, a guaranteed seat on the plane. Of course, barring some unforeseen, crazy, out of the blue incident, you know you're gonna be on the plane, good to go. And for viewers who are not part of the airline industry and you're like, jump seat, that is the seat where the flight attendant sits for taxi, takeoff, and landing. Now, I believe that most airlines allow the booking of a jump seat to be in a first come, first serve procedure. Some might process it by seniority, but I've never actually heard of that. So if you have heard of it, let me know in the comments below. I just never have. So I'll just speak generically and say, book as soon or as early as your airline allows. I'm telling you right now, booking a jump seat as soon as you possibly can, when you know you have a trip coming up and you 2 or 3 days earlier, or however your airline allows it, book that jump seat. It will take so much stress off your plate. Number 2, if the jump seat is not available, list for a flight that will get you into your base hours before sign in. Please do not look at a flight with 25 open seats. Look at the list of your fellow airline employees that are on that flight and just assume that all will be well. Like, you look at the flight and the flight gets you in at 2:50 when your sign in is at 4 p.m. and it's looking great. I'm telling you, that number of seats that are unsold could go from 25 open to 4 open so quickly that it will make you rethink everything that you've ever thought you understood. And it adds so much stress to your plate. And like I said earlier, being late in the airline industry is just simply unacceptable. Airlines hold their crews to a very strict standard of timeliness. So list yourself for a flight that gets in so early that if you didn't make that flight, that you have 2 or 3 other options you could try. Now, if you're thinking about this, you're thinking, wait, doesn't that mean that I'm chilling at the airport, not being paid, waiting for my trip to sign in for like 2 to 6 hours or more? Yeah, that is what I'm saying, and it sucks. But that is part of commuting. And yeah, you may know people, or you may be that person. I know people who really risk it all and they still make it to sign in on time. But their margin of error is so razor thin that if the plane they were on delayed for even 10 minutes, it's more than likely they'd be late to sign in. So I just recommend not doing that to yourself. And lastly, be ready to be creative. Just like my trip to Germany, well, now it's Milan, Italy. It would be so great if we could fly directly just to Frankfurt and then avoid, having to go anywhere else and just boom, there we are. It'd be simple, it'd be convenient. That's where the game's gonna be held, so that's where we go. But from what I can tell, that's just not gonna work out. So instead, I had to look at neighboring countries. I had to get creative. So if you've got that flight from Boston to Dallas, right? You live in Boston, you work in Dallas, that's your base. Dallas is your base. So you fly from Boston to Dallas and you look and you've got to sign in at 4 p.m. and it doesn't look good no matter what flight you take. All right, every flight that gets you in on time just looks bad. Then you've got to have backups to your backups. This could even mean flying to a neighboring city or even state and renting a car to drive to the airport. And if you don't know any airline crew or you've never explored what commuters actually go through, this might actually shock you. But situations like what I just described are real situations that commuters go through. Actually, on my previous video, there was a comment saying that commuting is why flight attendants quit. And I don't fully disagree. Aside from burnout, yeah, commuting can be a real stress to your life. And I know flight attendants have quit over that. So my advice is this: avoid commuting if you can. And that just means living in the city that you're based in or, close by, because commuting really does become a second job that you're not paid for. You spend hours of unpaid time at an airport and you have to take a flight, long or short, that you are, of course, not paid for. And I should mention that some airlines do have programs that if you've exhausted all your options, right? You have a paper trail, you're like, no matter what I did, I could not get into work on time. Then you won't be held accountable for being late or your absence will be excused. But that is so airline specific that I'm not getting into detail with that. So if you absolutely have to commute because you cannot leave your home and the only bases available to you are outside of your home airport, then I completely understand. It is what it is, and I hope that these 3 simple tips will help you in your commuting, especially if you're a new hire watching this video. And that's all for today, y'all. Thanks for watching. Make sure and subscribe. Comment below on any commuting advice that you have, or if you have any questions, I'd love to answer them. You can shop my Amazon storefront and connect with me on the socials, all in the link in the description below. I'll talk to y'all next time. God be with you.